Welcome to Maths Clips. Today we're going to cover an introduction to maths problem sums. Introduction to models. The maths problem sums is a heuristic approach to help primary students understand maths concepts. With the model method, it helps to understand number relationships in a diagram. Once you understand the number relationships, then you can understand the problem sums better, and you can solve it without using complex algebraic solutions. In the problem sums, it can be in the form of fractions, percentages, by comparison, multiples, and ratios. Now we go to model drawing. There are a few types of models which we will go through in this video. The first one is a part-whole model. In a part-whole model, the bar is divided into subdivisions to show the parts. The relationships is then established between the whole and its parts. For example, Jane has 30 pens, 20 of them are red, and the rest of them are blue. Find the number of blue pens. In the comparison model, this model compares two or more different quantities. In this example, Mary and Jane have 85 stamps altogether. Mary has 20 more stamps than Jane. The quantities can be in whole numbers. However, you can also use the model for fractions or percentages. Here is an example of problem solving using fractions. For example, Andy has 3/5 as many stamps as Bob. Or in the case of percentages, then Anna has 20% more stamps than David. The next one is a stacked model. In a stacked model, it looks very similar to both the part-whole model and the comparison model. For example, Jane bought 2 pairs of shoes and 3 shirts. The cost of each shirt is $5 more than the cost of a pair of shoes. In the next model, we can use an area model. This model represents the entire area in the form of a rectangle in square units. For example, the breadth of the rectangle is 3/5 that of its length. We can also use the remainder and remainder subset model. In this case, this model is used to calculate remainders. For example, Jack spent 2/5 of his pocket money on food and gave 2/5 of the remainder to Bob. In the container and content model, we normally use C to represent the container. For example, 2/5 of a container filled with water, and the mass of the container and its contents is 6 kilograms. The pictorial model is used for problem sums requiring elimination method. We will cover this method in more details in lessons 30 to 32. Now we could represent it in the form of objects. For example, 5 green apples and 2 red apples cost $2.80. It can also be in the form of shapes or in the form of letters. And of course, you can also solve it by algebra method. The next one is the unitary and numerical model. Now this model is used when a numerical value is added to a set of units. For example, Jack spent a quarter of his money and his mother gave him $22 more. In the segmented unit model, the unit need not contain any numerical values. It can be segmented to represent values of different kinds of measure. For example, Jack could buy 6 more stamps with the additional amount of money. We'll learn more about this method in lesson 40. The number line method is useful to represent distance and speed. For example, the distance from home to school is 10 meters. Now, for all model drawings, it is important to draw clearly and to label the parts correctly and show all workings to arrive at the answer. Now that ends the introduction video. The next, we were going to be covering the part whole model. Thanks for watching.